Hello, good people of YouTube. Mountbatten here, and today we're shifting gears from my usual rambling videos, and we are going to be talking about some of the things that I believe Warships gets right. I know a lot of channels spend time saying what they think's wrong with the game and how to fix it, all this jazz. But today I'm going to shift the mood a little bit, and we're going to talk about what this game does right, at least in my opinion. And again, this is all my opinion. This isn't a definitive, World of Warships does these things perfect, but it's just some things that I think the game and the devs really just, they always hit it out of the park on these couple of things or these aspects of the game. So I thought, without any further ado, let's go ahead and get right into it. And again, this is going to be a bit of one of my rambling videos, so it's not, I don't have a script or anything. I'm just going to talk and share my opinions. So anyway, let's go ahead and get into it. I know that's the second time I said that. I repeat myself a lot. I'm sorry. Alright, so the first thing I think this game does right is its graphics. And I know I have said in previous videos that they need to update the graphics, but either way, the ships look nice. The water looks really, really good. Water's hard to do in video games, and this game does pull it off quite well. Ships look really good. The effects of the guns look absolutely beautiful. And the torpedoes, the effects, just everything about the game looks very nice for any really AAA game, let alone a free-to-play game. I mean, guys, we gotta remember, free-to-play, like, this game is free-to-play, and the graphics are on par with AAA games. Now, I know some of the older ships show their age and some of their modeled textures and stuff, but the devs are slowly going through and updating those things. And if you look at some of the newer premium ships and even just take a look at the French destroyers, they look really, really nice. And you can't really tell me they don't, because heck, you can see some insane amount of detail on these ships. They craft all of this, they design this, they texture all this stuff that it's just amazing the work they put into these ships. I think somewhere, I forgot how many hundreds of man hours they put into the design, the designing, the sculpting, and the texturing of these ships. It's really, really, really amazing, and I just gotta say, that is just something they always just hit it out of the park with. Okay, next thing that they do well is the sound design. Yep. I doubt there's a person living on this planet that when they hear Yemi's guns, they just don't feel a little special on the inside. I mean, really, when you hear the Yemi's guns go off in that deep roar and nice, and not just the Yemi's guns, but all the gun sound effects sound really good. Even the smaller destroyer guns, I mean, if you think about it, we consider those guns small on these on this game. But those guns were massive in real life. I know we think, oh, it's just a 5-inch gun. Yeah, but I mean, 5-inch gun, that's not exactly a small gun in real life. Have you ever stood by one? They're quite large, and they sound really good. So even the, again, quote-unquote small guns in the game sound nice and powerful. The cruiser guns sound good. The battleship guns, in my opinion, are some of the best sounding guns in the game. The reloading sounds, the torpedo reload sounds, the little swish when you launch your torpedoes, it all sounds really, really good. Not to mention the music in the game. Music in the game, it's always really just, it's in the mood. It's got a nice beat to it. It's that really cool, like, hybrid between synthetic music and orchestra music, and that's some of my favorite music right there, you guys. It's called production music. Bands like Two Steps from Hell that do this, and it just sounds so good, and I always enjoy listening to the music when I'm playing. And the sound effects for capping, the announcer voice, it's just so well designed and so well executed, and I gotta give it to Wargaming for that too, for pulling that off. It's really good. Alright, the third thing about the game that, and this isn't meant to be a list video, I'm just going off the top of my head. Well, not off the top of my head, I know these things already, I'm just going in some order that I'm construing together in my head as I go along. So the third thing is the grind. It's a grind for sure, but it's nowhere near the grind of World of Tanks. I mean, geez, I started to play water tanks for a bit, and then I just slowed down. I'm like, this is going to take me so much longer than water warships. And then I got into War Thunder, and oh my god, the grind in War Thunder is so painful. And I'm talking about the tank grind, because I just started playing War Thunder for the tanks. I got up into the planes and started grinding through some of the planes, and it's like, holy hell, how do they expect me to do this? I don't have enough time in the day. I don't have enough time in a week to grind as much as you would need to get to a top tier plane in a decent amount of time. But in World Warships, it's, I know, and again, I've said this, but the grind, and we all complain about it, but it's really not that bad. And it's really not bad at all if you have premium and premium flags and premium camo or special camos. It really does not go by that slow, especially if you know what you're doing and you can perform well in game. And that is just one of the really appealing things to this game for me. Alright, next thing would definitely have to be the balance, quote unquote. I know some of you are like, what the hell are you talking about? But, I mean, think about this. They had to take ship classes which absolutely would not be able to damage ships and other classes, and they managed to make it work. Like destroyers, for example. Destroyer guns should in no way have any significant effect on well, some heavy cruisers or battleships at all. You know, just the armor that battleships had would just make it pointless. But it still works for the game. I know I say a lot about fires and how they need to tone down the fires a bit, but still, I understand that this is a game, and that has to happen in order for there to be a fair balance to the game. And not just that, but torpedoes too. I mean, in real life, I mean, we all know the story of the Musashi and the Yami, how many dozens and dozens of torpedoes they ate before they went down. And in this game, I mean, sure, you can maybe eat that, well, I don't know, 39 torpedoes. I think Musashi was in the 30s somewhere, just off the top of my head. And, you know, you maybe can't eat that many in the game, but you sure can eat a fair few. I mean, heck, the Yami and the Musashi do have better than average torpedo protection, but you can eat a fair few torpedoes before you go down. And battleships versus destroyers too, because, you know, if a destroyer took the full force of a battleship salvo, I mean, it would cease to exist. That happened. The Warspite did that to a German destroyer during World War II, and they managed to make it work and make it fair, and make it relatively balanced for being a video game. I know there's the CV rework, that's still all up in the air, but for the most part, and for the core gameplay, they've done a very excellent job of that. Alright, the next thing is that there's really no other game like this game out there. I mean, there's a couple of rip-off clones of World of Warships, and I know War Thunder's coming out with their own thing, but the War Thunder naval forces, it's not World of Warships. It's not, you know. It's more of a simulator, and it doesn't feel as good. And I've played it, and, you know, it just doesn't have the same feeling that World of Warships does, because, I don't know, I really can't put my finger on it. Maybe it's the damage model, maybe it's just style, how it's more simulator than arcade. Because, I mean, in War Thunder Naval Forces, a destroyer in there feels like the frickin' Kurfürst in World of Warships. And I understand, you know, destroyers weren't small ships. I've been to the Kid plenty of times to know that destroyers aren't as near as small as we think they are in game. And I've been to, well, I mean, you guys have seen the Texas, the Alabama, the Wisconsin. Battleships are giant ships. And World of Warships, they feel like that. And cruisers feel, you know, somewhere in between destroyers and battleships as far as maneuverability goes. And it's just like Wargaming gets that down so well. The movement of the ships, how they handle, their unique characteristics for each of them. That's another thing too, how they manage to give each line its own individual flavor and get them, and makes them feel unique and gives you a reason to grind them out. They managed to do that for God knows how many. I mean, think about it. You got the Royal Navy in the game, the U.S. Navy in the game. You got the Japanese Navy in the game. You got the Kriegsmarine. You got the Soviet Navy, the Commonwealth, the Pan Asian. Now we have the Italians coming out too. That's 7. I don't know. I don't think. Oh, and Pan American. Although that is really just the Nueva de Julio, but they may be expanding upon that in the future. They've got 9 nations in the game right now, and some of these nation trees have full branches. They have cruisers, destroyers, aircraft carriers, and battleships, and each line in each nation has its own unique feel to it. And they managed to pull that off, in my opinion, they managed to pull that off very, very, very well. I mean, you gotta give them credit for that. That's no small feat. And they're always coming out with new content too, new ship line and new premium ships. Some content not as much as they should, like new maps and new game modes, but they are always putting stuff out for this game, and you gotta appreciate that too, especially for, again, a free-to-play game. So those are the things that I think Wargaming does very well, and no, there's more. And I didn't go into too much detail on each point because, again, I didn't want this to be a 25-minute video. But those are the things I think Wargaming has done very well with World of Warships. And, again, there's more. And let me know in the comments down below. What do you guys think Wargaming gets right with World of Warships? What are some things you think they get wrong? If you guys want to do a video on what I think they get wrong, or sometimes maybe they don't. They're just really close to hitting the mark, but they just miss it by a little bit. Let me know if you guys want to see that. But anyway, guys, if you enjoyed the video, drop a like, leave a comment. Again, let me know what you think they get right about the game. And subscribe. We're on our way to 4,000 subscribers. We are almost there. We are very, very close to there. Then once we hit 4,000, it'll be on to 5,000. And then I think we're going to do something really big for 5,000 once we get there, because that's the halfway point to 10,000. And I mean, I don't have any end goal for subscribers. If we get to 50,000, we're going to go for 100,000. We get 100,000. We're going to go for 150,000. We can get to 150,000. We're going to go to 200,000. But that's a ways away. But anyway, like, God, man, I can really get off track. I am a proper high school teacher, am I not? Oh, boy, oh, boy. Anyway, guys, hope you're having a wonderful Tuesday. Hope to see you guys in the next one.